The deep web, also known as the deep net, invisible web, or hidden web, is an area of the internet that cannot be accessed with a normal web browser. Because of the anonymity of it, it has been known to be a means of conducting illegal activity such as drug dealing and the distribution of child porn. Of course, there are also a lot of creepy rumors that have arisen from the deep web. Just look up scary deep web stories and you'll hear a lot about curious people who explore just a little bit too much. One of the most anomalous rumors about the deep web, however, is the existence of red rooms. A red room is supposedly a hidden website on the deep web where someone will stream the live torture and murder of someone. It's essentially a live-streamed snuff film. Some of these are said to cost money, and others are free. In some cases, it has been said that people are even able to participate in the killings via a chat room. They can simply type in what they want the torturer to do, and he'll take out the request on the victim. People say the reason these remain so elusive is obviously because if these links were just handed out, then they would obviously get caught really easily. But others say these are really elusive because they just don't exist. There have been two well-known events in which a possible red room was made public: the Alicia Red Room and the ISIS Red Room. In 2015, not too long ago, rumors of a legitimate red room made their way to the public. The name of the room was simply called Alicia, but it was written as if it were an acronym for something. I have no idea what it stands for, but I'll mention a very weak theory that I have in a moment. The Alicia website is actually still up today. Here's a link to it if you want to look at it using the Tor browser, but there's also a link to the same website if you want to view it on a normal web browser. Apparently, when this was first created, it only showed the word Alicia and had a countdown beneath it. There was also Portuguese text that translated to, "Call me, show it live, show your fear and weakness." In addition, there were a lot of loud noises playing in the background, and one of those noises sounded like screaming. Now, I wasn't aware of any of this when the countdown was actually going on, but according to somebody on Reddit, when the countdown did end, a live stream started, but there was nothing to be seen. Only the audio that we heard before. Another person on Reddit just implied that nothing special happened once the countdown ended. No one got murdered or anything like that. If you want to go to the website now, you'll see the word Alicia with the same Portuguese text beneath it. Below that, there's a picture of a moth and even more Portuguese text. Someone on Reddit did translate what this said, for those of you who are curious. You've probably noticed that there is a bunch of blank space above Alicia. This actually isn't blank space. If you highlight it, then you'll see yet again more Portuguese text. A YouTuber named Takedown Man read off a translation of what this meant. It kind of just seemed like a message someone put here to be edgy. One noticeable thing about this, however, which was also pointed out on Reddit, was that the last sentence says, "And if you look for a long time into an abyss, the abyss also looks into you." Sound familiar? That's actually just a slightly reworded version of a quote by the German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. As for the audio in the video, it seems like it was just the same audio that played in the version of the website that had the countdown. The audio isn't being streamed from anywhere, in case you're wondering. It's just a 10-minute audio file that plays in the background once. You can even download the audio yourself if you go into the source code. Speaking of the source code, if you do go into the source, you will also find that there are two lines of code that were commented out, both in Portuguese, of course. The first one translates to, "You will not find the truth in a code. You're lying, we are the truth, and the truth will find you." And the second one translates to, "Then it opens the door to a new chosen." I mentioned before that I had a weak theory about why this may have been called Alicia. Well, since pretty much all of the text on this website was in Portuguese, I decided to take the name of Alicia and use the Portuguese to English dictionary on Babylon to translate the name, and one of the translations came out as tout. Tout means to try and sell something in an aggressive or bold way. Well, since red rooms often make a profit from people that want to give orders to the torturer, you could consider the concept as a show that is being sold. And if someone actually made a red room this public, I would certainly say that that was pretty bold. Like I said, this is a really weak theory, but I just wanted to throw it out there just because. They could have just as easily named it Alicia because that was the name of the girl they were planning to torture. Anyway, if there is anything that you should take away from the Alicia Red Room, is that the whole thing hyped up a lot of people for a really long time, but at the end, absolutely nothing happened, as was said by a lot of the people who witnessed it. So obviously, the whole thing was fake.
Before I reveal the most amazing example, I'd like to remind you to subscribe if you've enjoyed this video. We upload amazing fact-filled list videos daily. Also, make sure to click that bell icon to stay updated, or you'll regret on missing out on some amazing knowledge that could have filled your brain.
Another popular Red Room hoax that happened somewhat recently was the ISIS Red Room. A website on the deep web sprung up with the header, ISIS Red Room Free, Brutal, Live. It was also accompanied by a countdown timer. The website is no longer up, but there are several pictures and videos taken from when it was up. The owners of the website claim that they captured several ISIS jihadists and would livestream their torture and execution on August 29, 2015. This caught the attention and curiosity of a lot of people very quickly. As you would expect, there were a lot of people who agreed with this, and a lot of people who disagreed. They even received some denial of service threats, and some people also said they would spam the chat rooms to make sure they couldn't carry out torture orders. After getting everyone really hyped up for this whole thing, the timer did eventually count down to 0 and the live stream did begin. The video can be found on LiveLeak, but honestly it isn't that graphic. You'll see what I mean in a second. The first 4 minutes are just some guy sitting in a room with a bag over his head, who I guess is supposed to be the ISIS member. Eventually, a man walks into the room. 7 minutes in, and the man asks the ISIS member to stand up and sit down repeatedly. At 12 minutes, the man brings raw bacon into the room. He throws the bacon at him, and then takes the plate away and leaves. At about 15.5 minutes, the man sets out various tools on the table, including a hammer and a wrench. At around 18 minutes, the man picks up the hammer, but then the video starts to lag a lot, so we have no idea what's going on. Once the lag ends, we can see the ISIS member dry heaving or something like that, and there appears to be blood on him. And for the remainder of the 21-minute video, nothing else really happens. This hoax was done a lot better than the Alicia Red Room in my opinion, but still, the video was really weak and pretty much nothing happened in it. We didn't really even see this guy get tortured at all, which you think they wouldn't hesitate to do after hyping everything up for this long. The video was just really boring. After all that happened with the ISIS Red Room, almost everyone regarded it as fake, and I agree that this Red Room was obviously another hoax. So this brings up the question of whether or not Red Rooms actually exist. I'm not flat out denying that they do exist, but if they do, then it still has yet to be proven, which I guess might make sense to some extent, since something like this would have to remain very elusive in order to work. Mudahar from Some Ordinary Gamers made a video about Red Rooms in October, and he claims that they do exist. According to him, in order to actually find a Red Room, you first have to enter an IRC chat and find somebody who already knows about a Red Room and get them to send you the link. Once you go to the link, you have to be invited to make an account, which, according to Mudahar, isn't easy since they have to do a background check to make sure you are not with law enforcement. I have no idea how Mudahar can be so certain this is actually true, since he says himself that he has never actually went through the process, and he never really explains how he knows about all this. Still, like I said earlier, there really isn't any evidence of Red Rooms. An article in the Washington Post stated that there have been many FBI raids on the deep web, but there has never ever been a raid on a Red Room. This either means that Red Rooms don't exist, or they're so elusive that they've been able to avoid law enforcement for so long. I'm still on the fence with the whole Red Room thing. They might be real, but then again, it's never actually been proven either. What do you think? Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the flip side.